I would like to start with your reaction to Senator Josh Hawley proposing a measure to help protect churches and pregnancy centers from attacks.
I'm very grateful for this measure, and I think that it's long overdue. I'm from the state of Connecticut, and for the past 4 to 5 years, our pregnancy resource centers have been fighting negative legislation, accusing them of false advertising. The California pregnancy centers had a Supreme Court case that they had to fight, and thankfully they won, NIFLA versus Becerra. That was a few years ago. So pregnancy centers have been under attack for years from pro-abortion radical groups, and it's important to see senators, state legislators, mayors, representatives, elected officials who are willing to stand up and support them.
So this has been happening long before the overturning of Roe, correct?
It has been, and some people are not aware of it if it's not happening in their state, but in certain states like Connecticut and California, the pregnancy centers have been harassed and they've been accused of all sorts of wrongdoing when really all they're doing is providing resources to women and families in need. And so it's very sad to see them dishonored in this way.
Senator Hawley's bill would make attacks on pro-life pregnancy centers a felony for first-time offenses. Do you think this is justified? And if so, is it enough?
I do think it's justified because if you look at what's happening across the country right now, pregnancy centers are suffering hundreds of thousands of dollars in damages. Their windows are being broken, their centers are being burned, they're being vandalized. It's important for people to understand that most of these centers do not get state funding. Very few of them do. The majority of them are raising funds on their own. They're doing baby bottle campaigns, they're doing diaper drives, they're doing partnership things with community members. And so they don't always have the resources to just, rebuild, especially if they're struggling in other ways. And so, yes, I do think that it's justified. And I also think that more needs to be done.
And I know that some of these pregnancy centers have even had to resort to paint that is graffiti resistant.
Yes, it's very sad to see them having to take such measures because, again, these pregnancy centers, they're offering free resources to women and families. They're offering parenting classes at no cost. They're offering diapers and baby clothes. They're offering baby showers. They're helping women get jobs, and they're helping them get on social services. And for them to have to be protecting themselves in this way, it's just very sad that we've come to this place in our nation.
And how do you classify the threats, violence, and vandalism against these pregnancy centers since Roe's been overturned?
I consider it to be domestic acts of terrorism. I consider it to be terrorism against these centers. They are trying to shut them down. They're trying to make them afraid. They're trying to intimidate them. One of the common phrases that they're writing in graffiti over their centers is, if abortion is not safe, then you're not going to be safe either. And that is just, it's a fear tactic. It's a tactic of terrorism.
And what do you make of senators such as Elizabeth Warren who say that these pregnancy resource centers need to be shut down?
It's very sad, and I would encourage Senator Warren to visit the centers in her own state. One of the centers in her own state was just vandalized, and I would encourage her to tour them, to talk to the leaders, to look at the work that they're actually doing, to talk to the clients of the centers and ask them, why do you keep coming back? Why do you come to the center? Because if she does, she'll realize that women are freely choosing to come to pregnancy resource centers because they provide resources and support. And I think she would understand better if she was to do that her attacks are really ignorant.
Christina Bennett at Live Action, thank you so much for your analysis on this.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.